Today I will be presenting some empirical evidence that can help diagnose the current state of your organization and discuss some evidence-based interventions that may help to improve the current state of your organization. The current feedback I receive from HR is that staff overall are less enthusiastic and less committed. The desired future state of non-specific is to have a body of staff who are with you and are happy to go the extra mile. Taking this into consideration, the most effective solution for non-specific may be to focus on increasing employee performance. According to timeless studies by Maslow and Hertzberg, motivation is a key factor in addressing the productivity of people. The question is, how can we address this issue? Well, many researchers view human resources or employees as the most important asset of an organization because their skills and abilities define the organization's competences and can give the organization a competitive advantage. Thus, organizations should continually monitor its structures to determine the most effective way to maximize an employee's contribution to the organization. According to my research, several studies have found a positive outcome as a result of increased motivation. Increasing motivation increases job satisfaction and organizational commitment, productivity, retention, and decreases turnover rates and absenteeism, and lastly, increases organizational success. In the context of work, motivation is an individual's degree of willingness to exert and maintain an effort towards organizational goals. There are two types of motivations, intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation is a pleasure-based motivation that stems from within the individual. And extrinsic motivation is a result of external incentives. Studies have shown that intrinsic factors are generally the main motivators in people. Motivation is a psychological force that drives behavior and depends heavily on our needs. That's basically what Maslow's hierarchy of needs states. Maslow's hierarchy of needs focuses on 5 categories of needs, including physiological, safety, belonging, esteem, and self-actualization needs. Unfortunately, there is limited academic research supporting the emphasis Maslow's theory places on hierarchy, and that needs diminish once satisfied. However, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is still useful in the present day. For example, Google's organizational strategy to motivate employees was found to incorporate Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the most basic level, Google motivates their employees and fulfills their physiological needs by offering perks on site, such as free gourmet food. For safety needs, Google goes beyond offering typical health insurance benefits. For instance, new parents are offered more time off work with pay. Google creates environments with more opportunities to build relationships with others to satisfy their employees' belonging needs. For esteem needs, all Google employees are provided with the opportunity to try new technology and provide feedback. This gives employees a sense of pride and responsibility. For self-actualization needs, Google motivates employees by creating a culture of learning and an environment where employees can be challenged mentally and physically. Google's unique ability to address all 5 levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs may be the reason why their employees are highly motivated. As PayScale reports, 86% of Google employees are satisfied with their jobs. To maximize results of employee motivation, organizations should build strategies to fulfill all 5 needs of the employees. This in turn will increase worker motivation, thus lead to the increase of productivity, commitment, job satisfaction, and revenue. According to Hertzberg's 2-factor theory, hygiene factors extrinsic to the job and related to general work environment prevent dissatisfaction, but do not affect satisfaction and performance. Motivators are factors stemming from intrinsic job conditions and aid the growth and development of an individual and their level of job satisfaction. Therefore, an individual's willingness to work is influenced by hygiene factors, while an individual's performance is affected by motivators. Now that we know the effectiveness of motivation on performance, I will highlight the prime motivating factors in employees found throughout the literature review. In Cyprus, a study on hospital employees was completed to investigate the impact of 4 motivation factors of job satisfaction via survey. The results of the survey ranked achievement as the highest motivator, then remuneration, coworkers, and job attributes. As supported by Hertzberg, achievement, an intrinsic factor, was the main motivator in the study. Although the results were not in order of Maslow's hierarchy, all factors were still needs that employees looked to satisfy to stay motivated. A cross-market survey found that the top 3 motivating factors that drive employees to remain at work were exciting, challenging, or meaningful work, supportive management or good boss, and being recognized, valued, and respected. Whether an intrinsic or extrinsic motivator, they all prove to increase motivation. Needs vary from person to person. Subsequently, in order for managers to control employee behavior, they must make the effort to understand the needs their employees look to satisfy in their job. Thus, when developing a strategy to increase employee motivation, it is essential to start by investigating the motivating factors of workers. The most effective method would be to customize a survey using a mixed methods approach with 2 phases. The investigation phase would involve creating a list of motivation and demotivation factors using the most recent literature and expert opinion. A semi-structured interview would then be conducted to identify key motivators or demotivators and shorten the list. In the survey phase, a quantitative job satisfaction survey would be created using key motivators or demotivators identified from the investigation phase and administered online for easy access. Remuneration and being recognized, valued, and respected was a high motivating factor for employees. The common theme across all studies of rewards and recognition programs is that people desire to be respected and treated with more value than financial capitals of a company. A Deloitte review by Burson found that there are 31% lower voluntary turnovers in high recognition companies than those with poor recognition culture. This section will discuss 4 recommendations that rewards and recognition programs should entail. RRP should recognize people for specific results or actions. Lawler discovered that motivation could be achieved when incentives were closely attached to how well a person performed. Recognizing performance increases meaning, purpose, and self-efficacy, which are intrinsic motivators. According to Hertzberg, these intrinsic motivators will help increase motivation and performance. RRPs should include peer-to-peer recognition. Burson's study discovered that top-down recognition was less meaningful and less impactful for employee motivation and performance. Peer-to-peer recognition may be more valuable to employees because they know that peers understand what they do on a daily basis and are recognizing what they have done. Peer-to-peer recognition satisfies the self-esteem needs, feelings of accomplishment, belonging needs, feelings of acceptance, and love and community. RRPs should make recognizing others easy, frequent, and meaningful. Daniels established that increasing the frequency of positive reinforcements from supervisor to staff increases quality and productivity. This can help develop a positive culture and an environment of openness, acceptance, and trust. In addition, how one communicates recognition can determine its effectiveness on performance. One of the most powerful means is storytelling. It connects and unites people, conveys values, and engages people into a culture of mutual acceptance and understanding. Lastly, RRPs are recommended to incorporate company values. When an employee is recognized in alignment with company values and missions, there is a sense of belonging and an organizational citizenship that's created. Here are some recommended long-term strategies. Through evidence-based research, it is recommended that non-specific develop a rewards and recognition program involving 3 separate initiatives. First, an online platform where peers can send e-cards based on corporate values in order to highlight the performance or behaviors of fellow peers. Second, monthly thank you activities by teams are recommended to recognize team goals or projects accomplished in the month. Lastly, an annual corporate recognition celebration is recommended that allows peers to nominate one another to win awards under categories that align to the corporate values. A good way to introduce the presentation of awards may be through a video presentation consisting of stories told by the nominators about the award winners. Based on research, these interventions will satisfy intrinsic motivators like self-efficacy, feelings of accomplishment, feelings of belonging, and in turn, increase motivation and performance. Evaluation is an important part of measuring the effectiveness of a program. Thus, here are recommendations for non-specifics to develop an evaluation component to their strategy. Conduct an annual job satisfaction survey. The survey should be administered before any staff motivation programs are implemented to get a baseline of the organization prior to any changes. The same survey should be administered annually and compared to the baseline results. A job satisfaction survey can identify several work-related issues around retention, compensation or benefits, and company policies. Once an accurate state of the perception of employees is captured through the job satisfaction survey, the organization will be able to calculate the cost differences between motivated and unmotivated employees, whether this be related to the cost of employee lost time sick days or annual retention values. The job satisfaction survey may give more insight into why the employees are unmotivated and how the corporation may need to revise or create new or old policies and programs to implement. In conclusion, motivation can be seen as a management process. Upon gathering knowledge about what triggers the thoughts of workers, it can be used to benefit the organization and influence worker behavior. Theoretical and evidence-based research confirms that satisfying intrinsic motivators and the 5 basic needs of employees will increase employee motivation, job satisfaction, and performance. Programs such as rewards and recognition programs can satisfy these needs and motivators to effectively increase employee motivation. Programs should always be measured to manage, and thus, an effective evaluation program is recommended to see the effectiveness of motivation-based programs. That concludes this presentation. Thank you for your time.